we're 12 minutes away from tip-off in the in-house tournament. So this is the NBA's new way of the in-season tournament. I'm sorry. This is their new way of trying to attract a new audience. And for old NBA diehards, probably don't care a lot about this. It's a bit gimmicky. However, Bob Bryant is joining us and exactly why they're in it and what kind of pickup they have had from the younger generation. He's a legend from the Boston Globe. Joins us. Bob, the in-season tournament underway. Celtics versus Pacers kicking it off. Pelicans Kings, and then we've got two matches tomorrow. Are NBA fans really looking forward to this?
The idea, what we are being told by the league, and is that there is an enthusiasm for it in terms of television ratings, which are significantly higher than the similar date a year ago. The similar games played in the beginning of December of a year ago. They think that it appeals to younger fans for a reason I'm not quite sure why that is, but that's what they think. And but the average fan can live without it. I think that the longtime fan. This is a Adam Silver obsession. He has decided that this is a necessary thing to try to create interest in the league before Christmas, when it's come the way it's evolved in America. Is that though opening day is in October, the opening day for many Americans is Christmas Day, when there are 5 games on and the league begins to attract more attention. But they want to speed up the process, if you will. But I've adopted an open mind. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see how the teams react to it, and we'll go from there. But I think Adam Silver is pleased with what he's seen so far.
Yeah, listening to Bill Simmons on his podcast, and I know that you know him well, he's given Silver, and I think it was an A+++++, saying it is a success, and he was musing as to whether or not this knockout stage in Vegas is going to take headlines away from the NFL, which I suppose is one of the big reasons for doing it for the NBA.
Well, I can't see it not yet ever begin to approach diminishing interest in the NFL. It's just adding interest to itself. I disagree with Bill on that score, and I can live without it, but I understand that people seem to like it. The thing I don't like, though, that I think they should examine, and that is the tiebreaker in the opening round is point differential. And maybe aggregate in the world of soccer makes sense when you don't have many goals, but in the NBA, point differential could lead to some ugly events. And we had one such thing in the Celtic game against Chicago Bulls, when in order to get the 23-point spread that they needed in the hopes of advancing, they resorted to some tactics that did not look very good in the fourth quarter. They fouled Andre Drummond, a 47% career free throw shooter, deliberately 3 times. Hacked Andre, as we said, to get the ball to prevent them from scoring, and he cooperated by going 1 for 6 from the foul line. And then they left their starters in much longer than you would in an ordinary route, and this led to a confrontation at midcourt between Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla and Bulls coach Billy Donovan. And Joe had to calm Billy down and say, "Look, we have to do what we have to do. I'm sorry about this," and hope that that this doesn't have to happen again. It's not a good methodology in American basketball for point differential. They've got to think of something else for a tiebreaker.
Okay, so what they just need kind of manufactured results and kind of contrived goings on.
Absolutely, and it didn't. We're not used to that here. There's a etiquette. There's a courtesy. There's an unspoken rule about the way you handle yourself in a route, and the Celtics violated those rules and those unwritten rules, and then it didn't look good.
Bob Bryant is with us, wrote for the Boston Globe for years, just a wonderful friend of the show and a legend in reporting sport and in his part of the world. No Denver Nuggets. Does that take a bit of gloss off that the NBA champions aren't in this?
Not as much as you might think, simply because people, they don't say they thought they weren't worthy. They were worthy. They earned it. But they're not a glamour team. They don't have a wide national following. I think people can live without them, and until they're not. They don't have a cachet at all. They do have a wonderful player in Nikola Jokic. There's no question that, and he is the two-time MVP, and he's a marvelous player. I love watching them play, and most basketball fans do. But it hasn't had any effect, I don't think, on. As a matter of fact, there's some up-and-coming teams that people are interested in seeing, and so they can live without. This thing can get by without Denver.
What about having no Steph Curry in there as well? I mean, I'm sure that when they decided on this idea, the idea was to have their best players playing, wasn't it?
Yes, of course, and the Warriors did not cooperate. There's still some. One major player left over there, of course, is Luka Doncic. But the stars are stacked in the East at the moment, and for this tournament with Joel Embiid, Embiid, who are playing with Giannis Antetokounmpo, number one, and now Jason Tatum, who's having a fine year and is in the most valuable player discussion, and a number of good guards that are in the East that are still playing. But certainly, they would like to have had Curry involved.
Bob, in the end, whoever wins it, what's it going to actually mean? I mean, it's in Vegas. It's going to be showtime. There's going to be a lot of confetti from the sky. There's going to be fireworks going off, and somebody's going to hold up a bit of a silver trophy. But what does it actually mean?
The first thing it will mean is $500,000 to each player on the winning team. Now, this is pocket change for the superstars and the stars, but it's very significant money for the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th man. So, and there's a lot of discussion here that the stars are framing this. They're playing this thing out to enrich their teammates, their lesser paid teammates. That's nice if it's true. I'm not sure how much I believe that, but they're trying to sell that idea to us. There's I don't know how proud they're going to be. This is a novel idea for America. You know, we know that in the world of international football, what we call soccer, that the multiple competitions are the norm. In England, you've got the FA Cup, of course, for years, as well as what's going on with the Premiership, and then you've got European championships and all that. We don't operate that way here, and of course the big difference between the way sports operate in America and they operate particularly in Europe is that in Europe you win your regular season and you're the champion, and that's the end of it. But in America, that's only the beginning, because we have playoffs in all 5 sports, including soccer. We have the championship game about to be played here in our MLS soccer, and everybody else, the team, it's not winning the regular season that matters. It's winning the postseason, winning the playoff. And the best example of that is the National Hockey League, where they have a President's Cup for winning the regular season, and that team has only won Stanley Cup in the playoffs like 3 times in the last 10 or 12.
All right, so it does actually go on and continue the NBA during in and around this. That's the other thing as well. So it's not kind of like they've stopped for this tournament. I mean, they, in terms of the the rest of the league, it goes on. So you've just got to put 2 hats on, I suppose.
Oh yeah, the rest of the league is going on about its business, and just this little deviation, and for the teams that advance, we've got 8 of them left. We have the quarterfinal, 2 quarterfinals, as you pointed out, games tonight, and 2 more tomorrow. And then the 4 finalists, the 4 semifinalists, would get to go to Las Vegas on the 7th, and then the championship game is the 9th of December. Yeah, the rest of the league goes on. It's odd. It's weird. We're not used to this. It's just so unnatural. It's just not a thing that Americans are used to. They're going to have to adjust to this. And believe me, Adam Silver is going to want to only figure out a way to make this even more jazzy, if you will. He's so obsessed with this. I can't stress enough about it. And he really believes that this is something that's vital to the league's future. And I'm not sure many people believe it, agree with him, but he's in charge.
Devlin.
Yes! Yes! Can they do it?
The platform.